Welcome back to CareerMax today, and we're welcoming Simon Coppelson. Simon Coppelson is Group General Counsel of Emirates NBD with around 30 years of experience and manages a worldwide team of around 120 lawyers. Without further ado, our first question is, could you expand on your roles and responsibilities as Group General Counsel? We would love to learn more about the day in the life of Simon Coppelson.
Good evening, Kian. And firstly, thank you very much for inviting me to be on your channel. It's an honor. You asked me to expand on the role of Group General Counsel. Well, in the bank I work in, it's a large bank. We have a market capital of more than $50 billion, assets of more than a couple of $100 billion, and offices and branches in more than 15 different countries. My job as the Group General Counsel is to ensure that legal risk across the group, across all of those countries and across all of our operations is minimized as much as possible. And those operations can raise legal risk in multiple areas. There is our core banking operations, wholesale banking, private banking, investment banking, banking and loans for small and medium-sized enterprises, and loans for all of our retail customers, ensuring that they're documented correctly, ensuring that all the repayment terms are correct, and any security that we need to take to protect our positions are taken properly. All of that's within my responsibility and the responsibility of the team. But in a bank, we also have legal risk in many other areas. There's risk around all of the laws and regulations that apply to the bank, and we need to ensure that the bank doesn't fall foul of any of those, and thereby either incur either criminal penalties or fines. There's all of the employees we have, all of the contracts we have with the employees. There's our legal cases, our litigation. At any one time, we're in thousands and thousands of legal cases, mostly recovering unpaid sums from our customers, but also we have hundreds of cases against us, which we have to deal with, and lots of large recovery cases as well. And there are various other areas in which we're also minimizing legal risk, such as our treasury function, how we raise money, where it comes from, all of those different transactions, capital markets transactions that we enter into, our brokerage, our wealth management operations, our real estate that we have. We have many branches and real estate across the country, and that's just a part of the list. We're also nowadays, just one final thing, entering into many commercial and technology contracts. So we need to make sure that legal risk is minimized in those as well.
Of course. Thank you for that very insightful answer. And for our next question, I can imagine that the work-life balance is weighted more towards work than life. Would you help a young person better understand and navigate the balance as well, as explain what excites you and brings you back to work every day? Is there anything that drives you away?
Anything drives me away? Let me deal with what brings me to work first, and then I'll maybe touch on the issues which are harder at the end. Early on in the career of a lawyer, it is indeed quite intense. There's a steep learning curve, and often it can be quite intense in terms of learning the terminology and the document reviews which are necessary. Unfortunately, that's part of learning, but it's very valuable when you get there. Later on, as you develop in your career, it tends to become more enjoyable because you can take a more strategic role in terms of supporting decision making and supporting your client, or in my case, the bank, with decisions around risk and strategic issues. Finally, one of the things that I enjoy, particularly nowadays, as I'm at the final stages of my career, is management of people and helping people grow in their roles and blossom as well as managers.
Wow, thank you. For question 3, as a Group General Counsel, what are the principal challenges in managing such a large team of lawyers? Effectively, isn't it similar to running a mid-sized law firm?
It could be, Kian, but in some ways it's nicer than running a law firm because in my case, we only have one client and they can't um, let you go. Whereas in the law firm's case, you have to manage lots of different clients, and they can all make decisions to go to other law firms whenever they like. But yes, it is. Lawyers are rather similar characters, whether they're working in a bank or whether they're working in a law firm. So management issues are quite similar in that respect. And in both cases, in the law firm and in-house in the bank, we need to keep, first of all, ensuring that the quality is strong. And after that, ensuring that we have good teamwork and align ourselves with the commercial interests of, in our case, the one client, which is the bank.
Of course, of course. For our next question, in order for a young person to better understand career paths and options, would you share your educational journey and career history that culminated in your current position?
Yes, certainly. I started at university in UK. I didn't actually read law, I read history. Personally, I don't think it's completely necessary to read law. There are many avenues into law, and sometimes it can be better to come from other routes. Um, I then went to do a conversion course in a law college in London, and did the necessary exams to become a UK solicitor. I started work with a UK law firm. I did the requisite period of qualification, which was 2 years. I then stayed with that law firm for another 7 years. And shortly before I was uh, to be considered as a partner at that law firm, I decided to make the move in-house, and I joined a investment institution in the United Arab Emirates, following which I went to a bank, and now I'm at Emirates MBD, as you've explained.
Oh, perfect, perfect. For question 5, when you're mentoring or recruiting future lawyers, what qualities do you usually look for?
I think teamwork is really important, Kian. All of our lawyers are working in teams at any one particular time, and we are always looking for people who fit in well with our team. Characters who aren't going to be competitive, who are going to be team players. Nowadays, I'm also interested in people who understand technology as well, because the nature of our work is changing very much, particularly as AI starts to impact on the work we do.
Well, that perfectly leads on to our next question. At the current time, there is a lot of press surrounding whether AI will replace lawyers. What's your opinion on this?
I think it's very interesting, and I'm spending a lot of time now, Kian, developing use cases for AI-based tools. These tools are very impressive in what they can do, and this is only the beginning. They are certainly starting to make the work of our lawyers much more efficient. So it will enable them to do tasks much more quickly. At this stage, we need human intervention for the more complex type tasks, really for bringing together, assimilating the information that might come out of an LLM with the risk issue or strategic issue that's being addressed as part of that piece of work. I don't see that going away immediately, but what they say about AI is that you may not see changes in 1 to 2 years, but the environment you see across a decade will be extremely different. And I do feel that particularly for any lawyers coming into the job now, they absolutely have to understand our institution. I am actively encouraging to upskill themselves so that they understand AI properly, and they see themselves both as the specialists that they always have been, and as a tech lawyer in that they can help design AI tools to help support them do their job. So it's very much changing our working environment. I'm quite excited about the tools at this stage in terms of being supplements for people's work and tools that can make them more efficient. I don't see them taking away lawyers yet, Kian, but across the next decade or more, it's quite possible that that will happen. And of course, that's not only in the law, but that's in multiple professions.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for your invaluable insights. Unfortunately, that is all the time we do have for today. And if our viewers, if you like this types of conversations, please consider leaving a like, a comment, or a follow if you want to help you max your potential. Thank you so much, Simon Coppelson.